Welcome back for another episode of HBCU Sports Spotlight Show, powered by Love of the Game podcast. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Please like, share, follow all of our content on our YouTube channel. Today we have a special guest, Coach Rob Jones from Norfolk State. He's been the head coach since 2014, and one of my guys I've been watching for a long time and have the utmost respect for him. So let's get ready to bring Rob on to our show. My man,
What's up? What's up?
the man, the myth, the legend, Coach. What's going on, man?
How you doing, brother? How's everything?
Man, everything is good, man. So, we try to bring this HBCU Spotlight show out to get the real on some things and let some coaches also be able to introduce themselves and talk because one of the things is, man, you're one of the most influential coaches right now in my eyes on any level. And I hate that people refer to Rob Jones as this great HBCU coach. I look at you as a damn good coach regardless because I've seen the stuff you run. I watch you. I've seen your interviews. And this is a way to kind of get you out there on the West Coast and other stuff like that. I hope, Norfolk's always going to pay you the money like you're a Power 5 coach and never let you go. But I definitely understand all these people coming at you because in my eyes, you're one of the top 20 coaches no matter what. So first off, Coach, we'll just talk about you were assistant coach there, and then you got the head coaching job in 2014. What are some of your experiences, both good and bad? And I give you the floor. Being at HBCU compared to a PWI.
Well, first, thank you for having me on the show, and thank you for those words that you said. Appreciate that. But the things I would say about HBCU is first, I guess the positive things, and there's a lot of positive things. So I I'll just touch on a couple of quick ones. Probably the main one is that it's really like a family atmosphere. I think that is really close knit. A lot of HBCUs, are not, 40, 50,000 students or anything like that. I don't think any, are. So, everyone kind of knows you a little bit, and it could be good and bad, I guess. But it's like a real family environment. I think people care. People care about the students. People care about the program and things like that. I think probably the negative thing about HBCUs is really just the financial resources sometimes. I think that when you're trying to be a coach, even like myself, I have a really super competitive nature, and I want to take the program to the next. Like I want to be like Gonzaga, I want to be like even like VCU up to which is close to us and things like that. Started off as a relative unknown, and now they're powers in the game of basketball, college basketball. So I think sometimes that people see my vision, or people are starting to see my vision, I should start to say,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't always match it with the funding that we have currently. So I know that they're trying to keep getting ways to get funding and things like that. And really, that's like the biggest difference between like a lot of PWIs and HBCUs is the funding. There's good coaches at every, well, not every, there's good coaches at a lot of PWIs, there's good coaches at a lot of HBCUs and things like that. So there's a lot of good players at PWIs, HBCU, all that stuff. It's just that usually the funding separates the success because as much as I tell people, as much as, the players get a lot of accolades and I get some accolades as well. It's really the machine around that's going to make the be successful, make you successful. So that's why you see in different places, you can kind of plug in different coaches and they're like always successful.
Mm-hmm.
That machine is so strong around the program that I can't say it doesn't matter totally who's there because it does, but you can have someone that maybe a little less than, but that machine is so powerful it's going to make it look good.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this: how hard is it for you to go into a recruit's house and really get them to want to come play for you at HBCU?
I think a lot of times the hard part is the HBCU part. I think that I think I have like my staff. We're a pretty personable staff, and I think that when people get a chance to know me, they're like, I'm a kind of like a real down to earth person. I don't really think too much of myself, no matter what's going on. Really, I ain't, I'm not like I ain't trying to be Kim Kardashian on social media or nothing like that. I ain't trying to do none of that stuff. I'm trying to just stay within myself. So I think when you get in front of a recruit, I think that they want to play for you. Honestly, they want to play for you. Like they want to play for Robert Jones, and the staff of Norfolk State. They want to play there, but then they always have reservations about the HBCU. Like because there's been so much negative connotation about HBCUs
Mm-hmm.
that it's kind of embedded in their minds, embedded in some of the parents' minds, and like we have to knock down some of those walls throughout the recruiting conversation.
Gotcha.
Know that hey, yes, we might not be able to match, I don't know, North Carolina or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We can match a lot of things that Murray State does and stuff like that. Like so we have to let them know that we can do a lot of different things that they might not even think that we do or can do because I don't know where it happened. Obviously I've been coaching HBCU basketball my whole life, but it's like I don't know where it's happened that people think of HBCUs as so less than, and it's yes, we don't have the resources like I said, like North Carolina or Duke, but we have way more resources than people think we do. Like we have too much resources as the NEC, the Big South, and conferences like that. Like we have just as much as they got going on.
And one of the things too, Coach, that I saw the other day on your story on Instagram, you was talking about, hey, Nike, thanks for the shoes and everything else like this. Going to the misconception, a lot of kids think, like you said, less than. They're thinking of HBCU, we might get, because everybody wants to have the gear and stuff like this. Like we might get one pair of shoes and we only get a T-shirt. But go into that a little bit.
Well, even with that, we used to have a young man on my staff, maybe 6 years ago. He came from actually Old Dominion, and we know, Old Dominion is in the same city as us, and they're always perceived as the better institution because they got more funding or, whatever the case is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, we were giving out gear. It's funny that you said gear. So this is a gear story, right? And we were giving out like book bags and like travel bags, which is like regular to me. His exact words were like, "Oh, you guys get both? We only got one or the other at Old Dominion, and Old Dominion is supposed to be, perceived to be so much whatever, So it's like, no, we don't get one pair of sneakers. These kids walk away with 8 pairs of sneakers. Some years 9 pairs of sneakers, depending on what's going on throughout the year. But usually at a minimum 8 pairs of sneakers. 5 sweatsuits, 10 t-shirts. I could go down the list. One by one that people who might hear this, at the schools that they're at, they might be like, geez, how do I get all that stuff? But perception is not reality. Even like with the stuff that I post every now and then on Instagram, I post it not to like really, flaunt or flex or anything like that. I post it to let people know that this is what's really going on here. Like, yeah, Nike sends us stuff too. They send the coaches stuff too. So just let y'all know that, like I said, it's not like a flex or anything like that. It's just, just letting the people know because like just knowledge to the people really.
Hey, I love it, man. Talk your talk, and I'm glad you said something like that because I want to go off topic for a quick second. Mm. What's your thoughts on the Jackson State Alabama State thing that went on?
I think I can see both sides of it.
Yep.
I think that yes, if I was Alabama State coach, I might be a little mad that the opponent was coming in saying they're going to beat us, bad because it's homecoming, and there's a lot of talk for Jackson State and stuff like blah blah blah, whatever. And Jackson State obviously is a good program, and you got to know that the devil that you're dealing with, it's like Dion is Dion. Dion's been prime time since for the last 30 years, so what kind of trash talk stuff is coming with that, So I mean, if anything, use that as bulletin board material to get your guys fired up, per se. And clearly the score was a little closer than a lot of people thought it was going to be, Yep. But I could also see Dion at the end of the game. Yeah, you were the antagonist because he was the antagonist. But at the same time, you go to shake somebody's hand, and they put their hands on you. It's like as a man, you automatically react with like a push. So I can see both sides of the coin with that.
Yeah, of course. But let's get into something for you. How do a lot of the other coaches on the road for you? Being coming from HBCU, PWI to the Power Fives, how do they embrace you on the road when you're out recruiting, or how do they look at you? Because I think misconception too for a lot of people is a lot of those schools and a lot of those programs look at the coaches at HBCU level as less than. When I've seen you, for example, I've watched the game and see you run stuff, and the announcer really doesn't say too much about you running it. But let's just say that the coach of Old Dominion runs the same thing, and now he's like the greatest gift to the coaching gods. Yeah. So what's that for you? What's your take?
I mean, on the road, I mean, everyone kind of shows love for real, to be honest with you. Okay. Which is like, sometimes I don't know how to take it. And the reason why I say I don't know how to take it because uh, I know we have respect. I know like this program has respect of pretty much everybody in the country. And if you don't respect us, then you just too egotistical to look at what we're really doing at Norfolk State. So I do think this has like a strong respect. But the other thing I say too is that like and I know it's a dirty game in recruiting, but don't don't give me all the respect when you see me. But yet but yet you'll tell a recruit don't go there because Norfolk State is not good or Norfolk State is less than. But then when I call you to play, you don't want to play because you're scared to play. Like we'll get email, and what we do is and maybe I shouldn't say this because like people will probably stop emailing us. But what we do is that like we'll save the emails and put them in a little folder about the teams that don't want to play us, and we'll show it to like your favorite recruit. We'll show you that hey, some of the schools that you want to go to, they're scared to play us, and because of the respect that we have and what we and the product that we're able to bring to the table. So,
Okay.
um, it's like a double-edged sword to a certain extent. Um, and my fault. I was giving somebody a pen, but um, so it's like a double-edged sword to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I do think that we get a lot of respect. I do think that people respect what we're doing. One of my assistant coaches just went out recently. Coach Clemens, he went out on the road last weekend, and he texted me about the respect that the program is getting. Out on the road, maybe even more than previous years. 'Cause I think that the world is starting to see more and more of what we're doing at Norfolk State.
Gotcha. Gotcha. What do you think about the trend that happened? I mean, is that still a trend for athletes and people to say they want to go to HBCUs and then they either don't show up or they do? Part of it is some of these kids going to these HBCUs and not really producing like they should have because maybe they thought the talent was less than in some of these HBCUs. Because I've seen a lot of kids, football, basketball, everything else, like transfer to a HBCU from a PWI or Power Five, and some of them you don't hear anything else about them because they figured out like the talent was just as good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that I say about that trend is that the trend of saying that you want to go is still there. The trend of going has never really been there. It's like yeah, it happens to a certain extent. About like maybe a kid here or a kid there, like goes to a HBCU. But also, I think, and no disrespect to anybody that's gotten one of these kids, but I think that sometimes these kids are picking the wrong programs to go to. Like you got to pick an established program to go to help take it to the next level. Not really pick a program that might be an upcoming program because now it's an upcoming program. It's like if you win 5 games like the year before you got there and then you win 12, yes, that was a jump. That was a 7-person jump. But at the same time, I mean 7 win jump. But at
Hmm.
the same time, that program still only won 12 games. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I interviewed one of my guys who I've been knowing for a long time on the football side, HBCU, played in the NFL, and he said the thing that's missing on the football side is quarterback, receivers, and everything else. We got that. He said it's the line that kind of hurts them at HBCU. What do you think kind of hurts you with playing the game for you guys? Is it the height or what do you just think going on with that?
Well, a lot of times, I mean, even like we have decent height, so it's not really that. I think that what we're trying to change now is like the width. So I think sometimes
Gotcha.
like the strength is a little different. And a lot of that is due to the resources, like whether it's a better strength and conditioning coach than maybe some HBCUs have, a better nutritional thing than maybe some HBCUs have, better meals, things like that. So like we're trying to change that with our program slowly but surely because like I said, there's people all across the country that can run, pass, and shoot.
Yeah.
We got people that can run, pass, and shoot too, but sometimes their run, pass, and shoot is a little faster than ours, or they're a little stronger than ours. So if
Hmm.
we can bridge that gap with strength and just overall energy and X, Y, and Z, then I think that it would be it will widen the gap a little bit.
Gotcha. Well, tell us a little bit about your team this season.
Well, the team that we got coming back, we're excited about. I can't sit here and say that we're not excited about it. Is that we had 13 guys on the team last year and 12 come back, which is like unheard of really ever, but also unheard of in this day and age with the transfer portal. You know, so we could have had all 13 guys come back, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
With a young man. So we literally could have had the whole exact team coming back from last year. I think the thing that we're fighting though is that a little bit is that because we have so many guys back, we got to find innovative ways to keep them engaged. It's like a lot of times it's like almost like veteran training camp. It's like people are kind of like I can't say totally going through the motions, but they're not going through it as hard as they would when it's like a fresh team, and everybody trying to prove themselves, and things like that. Like we have a lot of established guys, I think established roles, and some of those roles are going to be the same that they were last year. Some other roles might have to step up a little bit and things of that nature. But I do think that it's just keeping the excitement about the team and things. But I mean, I'm excited. We returned the MEAC Player of the Year and Joe Bryant. So
Like that, though.
anytime you can return a Player of the Year, you should be in good shape. And then we probably return the best pro prospect in the league at Chris Bankston. Chris Bankston is an athletic 6'9" athletic freak, and we're looking for him to have a big year for us this year, and hopefully he can be the next kid from here to get his name called.
Gotcha. What's some of your season highlights this year? Where you guys playing that stuff? I think I heard or saw you guys are going to Phoenix, right, for that Chris Paul.
Well, it's not Phoenix this year; it's in Vegas.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's in Vegas this year at the MGM. So it should be cool. But we besides that, our highlights we got like three. We played 3 top 10 schools in the country. We
Okay.
played Baylor, UCLA, and Houston. Some was by necessity, some was just by want the challenge as well.
Yep.
And when I say necessity, is that like a lot of teams don't want to play us, and a lot of teams don't want to play Houston either. So it's like necessity. I guess both of us kind of tricked each other into playing. Me and Coach Sampson. So we're going to play them, and then UCLA and Baylor was part of like a MTE Classic or something like that. So, but it just happened that it's going to be 3 top 10 teams in the country, which we've never done before. But I guess if you want to be the best, you got to play the best. You got to learn from the best. Because the thing I say is that we are going out there to win. Like we're not going out there just to go and play. That's not our makeup. That's not our DNA. Just to go play games. We're going out there to win. But if we don't win, we're going to take the things out of that game to make it a win. So like if we know we got to execute a little better, we got to do this a little better, then we're going to take some things from those games to make sure that those games are wins for us down the road.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I've following your career and everything, and you've had a lot of people speaking your name. On one of our other shows, Coach CY at Florida State spoke nothing but great things about you, and was talking about how great of a coach you are. With that being said, for your players moving forward in life and stuff like that, what are some of the things you and your staff are trying to teach those guys coming into HBCU?
Well, I think as far as like what you say, like just staff alone, I think a lot of times you get a lot of praise because your coaching ability as a head coach, but you're only as good as your staff to a certain extent. So I think that I have a pretty good staff with me, and the thing with my staff is that a lot of these guys have been with me for years now. I think a lot of times people talk about continuity within players. Continuity within staffing is important too, because now when you have staff turnover a lot, it's like you have to not only teach the players over, but you have to teach the staff over what you want. So now it's like almost everything runs like a well-oiled machine, just off the court because they know what I expect, and things like that. So they're able to kind of translate that to the players. But I think them as gentlemen and myself, we want to see these guys succeed in life. I think that everybody, has a chance, to succeed no matter where you come from. And a lot of times people don't understand that. A lot of young people don't understand that. They think like their background is going to like hold them back. Their upbringing is going to hold them back. And you really can do anything that you want to do, and I think that myself and some of the members on the staff is a perfect example of that, like coming from, little to nothing to now, where we at now, it's like, it's like winning the lottery. I saw people all the time, I win the lottery every day. Like I don't play Mega Millions too much. Too much. I do play when it gets to like 500 million, billion. Like I play now, but I think that I won the lottery every day. So we try to teach that to the guys. We also have the guys with a financial literacy program to help them. Help them go forward in life. They start to make money. Stuff that we didn't have coming up. Like no one told me about credit till I messed mine up. you know,
Tell me.
to be honest, nobody told me about that till it was all jacked up, and I had to figure it out then when I wanted to get a car or a house and things like that. So, us telling these guys early about stuff like that, I think will benefit them in the long run.
Gotcha. So we kind of getting the meat and potatoes now. It gets a little rough, so you might be on the hot seat a little bit. Um,
I'm too cool to be on the hot seat.
we talked about it in my last show. Part of the issue with some of these HBCUs and a lot of them too is I guess the swapping of coaches still in that same league from the SWAC, SIAC, CIAA, MEAC, and everything like that. Like coaches may get fired at one spot and may not have, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is, may not be winning. But then a school in that same conference or an HBCU conference, they pick that coach up. And part of the issue with that is I don't know about looking at the next talent or the next person coming up that could help, like run a program like you've been doing with your program and been winning since you've been there, and graduating kids. What can we do to start giving other coaches inside these HBCUs these chances to get a head coaching spot somewhere?
I mean, I think that a lot of times, even with me, like I think that the assistants should get a shot. I think a lot. The thing is, if you look around, even the league, like myself, Lavelle, before when Buck was in the league at Hampton,
Mm-hmm.
the guys that performed well in the league were all assistant coaches in the league. And I think as an assistant coach, you kind of know the landscape. Like I know, Central is going to play tough man to man. I know that Morgan is going to do a Princeton offense and stuff like that. Like stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's current Morgan. But so like you already kind of know. A lot of times the problem with our HBCUs, I think, is that like we go and hire outside the league, which is fine, right? But we go for like the biggest name to win the press conference, and that's really the problem, I guess, across the country is that people try to win the press conference and not win the games.
Yeah, for everybody else.
Yeah, so people go and like get like these high major assistants that because they think it's sexy to get a high major assistant, and that high major assistant has no idea what he's getting himself into when he comes to a mid major program, to HBCU and stuff like that. All those resources that you had, which made y'all good, now you don't have them. So now you have to really show your merit as a coach. Like I said, some of those resources kind of mask, how good some of these coaches really are because they have all the resources in the world. Like if I have all the resources in the world, we would be having a totally different conversation than we having now, about how far Norfolk State can go, how far Norfolk State has been, and stuff like that. So, a lot of these high major coaches don't do well. Like Kevin Brodus is probably one of the guys who broke the mold about a high major assistant that's actually doing okay in the league. If you really look in the league, a lot of high major assistants who came to the league really hasn't never done good in the league because they can't understand that. Now, at the same time, I don't think it's totally like, you should always just hire another HBCU coach or like, the me actually take a CIAA coach or whatever. Yes, if that coach is qualified, he should move up, and stuff like that. Yes, if that coach is SIAC is qualified, he should get a chance to coach Division I, but I don't think that you necessarily have to have a total HBCU background. Just like on the flip side, I think PWIs, don't always have to hire from a PWI. They can hire an HBCU coach. So it's like coaching is coaching. I interviewed with one job over the summer, and they asked me, well, how would you? And this is a true question. How would you adapt to coming to this X university? Coming from Norfolk State. And I told him, well, it'd be easy. It'd be easier, because I don't have to sweep the floor. I don't have to, make sure the hoops are up and things like that. Like I could just walk in there, coach basketball. I got a video coordinator. I got this coordinator. I got director of player development. I got all these other resources.
Hey,
coach basketball. So
yeah, you're not sharing your gym at homecoming with anybody.
It's homecoming right now. We about to walk to the auxiliary gym. You know what I'm saying? Like we got practice coming up in another 20 minutes or so. But we have to go to the auxiliary gym. Like our homecoming, our arena is down for concerts and all types of other functions and stuff like that. Like I don't have to deal with that at the next institution, So anywhere that I would potentially go, it's going to be easier from a logistics standpoint, and that's the thing I think that some PWIs miss, and not just about me, but there's other qualified HBCU coaches and things like that that they just almost put us in a box that like HBCU basketball. And I tell people all the time, like, I don't know what the hell HBCU basketball is. I know I coach at a university that's an HBCU, because that's their roots and things like that. But um, it's not like a separate a separate world, and that's why I tell people all the time, like the biggest award that I think we got last year, I guess from an individual standpoint, was the mid-major coach of the year award, because going 24/7 at a HBCU was like, kind of unheard of a little bit, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
also us finishing number 16 in our College Insider mid-major poll, you know, it just showed that we're one of the best mid-majors in the country. Yes, getting like the mythical HBCU national championship was cool, and all those national coach of the year, HBCU national coach of the year, player of the year, that stuff was cool, and very humbling to get those awards. But now is able to see us on a different platform, which is like what we really want to happen for Norfolk State.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, two last questions for you, Coach. I know you got practice and everything you got to run. Rob Jones takes over, has a athletic director at HBCU. What are some things you're doing differently to really help out the whole overall program?
Fun to hit the ground as hard as I can fundraising, or finding and hiring a good fundraising arm to fundraise for me. Because I think that the dollars makes all the sense. Here at HBCUs, if we could get I don't know. I think my basketball budget is like 1 million, 1.2 million, 1.1 million, something like that, or whatever. Some people's basketball budgets are 10 million, 11 million, 12 million, 30 million. If you really go higher than that, you give me $20 million, at HBCU, you'll see a big difference. Now, are we able to always get 20 million? No, of course, may not be able to get it, but can we try to up as much as we can? Yes, I do think that we can do that. So I would hit the ground running in that aspect, and just try to keep making our kids, not feel less than, even like I said, with us with the sneakers and gear and stuff like that. A lot of that's to make our kids not feel less than. It's like already, I mean, it's no secret that kids come in, they start hearing the nonsense, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be able to combat the nonsense and be like, "Oh no, it's not like that at Norfolk State," because everybody think that we're the same, all HBCUs are the same, and we're not all the same. I think there's like how people say there's high major, low major, mid major, and Division One. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's high major, mid major, low major, and HBCUs too. I think that everybody is not the same. Everybody's budget is not the same. Everybody is not traveling on bus everywhere. Like we fly everywhere. So when people give me these horror stories about being on the bus for 12 hours or 14 hours, I'm just like, what are you talking about? We don't do that at Norfolk State. So I just think there's levels within the HBCUs that people don't quite fully understand yet either. So I would just try to do my best to keep making these kids not feel less than, fundraise a little bit more and things like that.
Gotcha. Last question. Rob Jones takes over as the president of HBCU. What you doing?
The president. You should have gave me a briefing before these questions, Cam. It's crazy. um, as a president of HBCU, I guess I will try to emulate a lot of things that our current president does, Dr. J. I think that she gets it a little bit. I think that she's really about the students. She's really like, you could do a lot of things on this campus that could be judged as whatever. But if you cross a student, or if you do anything bad to a student, you're probably out of here. And it's like, she's all about student, that we have to give the best to the students, that we have to give ourselves to students. I think is that without the students, none of us would be here.
You're right.
Which is true. I mean, the students pay all of our salaries, all the anything that we have going on, the students pay. So she's right that we should give everything to the students, because without them, we wouldn't be at Norfolk State. There would be no Norfolk State. There would be no employment. There would be no contract extension to talk about and things like that. You know what I mean? Like without the actual student being here. So I would definitely emulate her a little bit, a lot of it probably, about just making everything student centered. And of course, me being an athletic person, I would have to make some of that athletic center too.
I got you, man. I got you. Well, appreciate you. Good luck this season, man. Any last words you got for anybody out here?
No, I appreciate you having me on again, Cam. It's always great, to talk to you, man. We became buddies. I know we haven't had a cup of coffee and really together yet, but we've always had text messages and things like that.
Yes.
So, it's always good to talk to you, and just look out for Norfolk State basketball. Like we're coming. We're gonna work hard. Like I posted the other day. I know, talk about sneakers and stuff like that, but I also posted that I hear, people talking a lot about other schools in the MEAC and about this player, that player, this kid, oh, this guy. and they're forgetting that we are the two-time champs, two-time defending tournament champs, two-time defending regular season champs. So we just not. I think people forget that. I don't know how they forgot it, but we here to disrespect a little bit, and we're going to be on it.
Talk your talk, Coach. Appreciate you, man. Good luck this year, man. We'll chop it up soon.
All right, man.
All right, appreciate you, man.
Sure.